Hi, everybody. Just wait for a few more people to show up, and then we can get going. Hope everyone's having a good night. You've been studying well. I'm glad to see that you are ready to learn, Sean Lee. Bring in the Quizlet, know the Kahoot. Aha. You may be disappointed, Derek. You may be disappointed. Like I said, we're waiting for a few minutes to make sure that everybody gets online. And we'll get going there in a little bit. Don't mind the noise outside my window. It's just a motorcycle parked on the street. That's better than people fighting like they happened last year. And that way we don't have all these issues with that. And just making sure that we're set up here for a good session. We allow for some lag time between what I do and what you see, and just making sure some people get in so we can get going. Remember that on your own, you can practice off of the page on my website that has all the test questions for each of the units, and check your answers there. Of course, it doesn't really give you any kind of explanation, but you can always check that out. And then we will be able to chat through some things here and go through that a little bit. So looks like Willie's here to chill. Hi, Jennifer. Praneeth is here. Spicy Boys, Pran, and Joji. Oh, that's interesting. Now I'm going to ask. I'm just going to let that one go. Let's see here. How many people we got? We got 18 of you here. Okay, we're going to get going here momentarily. So we can make use of everybody's time. I won't be going too late tonight, but we'll get some good studying in. Remember, there is no FRQ tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about that. And there's no other homework tonight. We don't want to worry about that either. And we'll make sure that that we have get right back on track as best we can with regard to the timing for our race to the AP exam, because that's always fun. And okay, I think we're ready to go. What we're going to do tonight is we are going to we have very definitions of what fun is. Willie just liked my class so much he just couldn't stay away. I think that's what it is. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to have an excellent time playing a game, a very badly formatted Jeopardy. So I know at home right now you're like, yes, Jeopardy. Just prepare yourselves for the fun of a lifetime as we get into the Jeopardy game. And there's not even category titles. It's one I stole from someplace. So totally admitting that. So going to admit that. Now, I'm going to have to do this kind of fun, because to project a screenshot of Jeopardy to you, I have to be able to see what you're saying, as well as play the game. So I'm not really sure how that's going to happen, because it won't let me split my screen. Give me just a second, and I will make sure to see how I can do this. It might be fun to try this, but we're gonna see how we can do this here. Scratch Jeopardy. It's not gonna work because I can't see what you're saying in that regard. So, all right. So then our next little thing that I've got set up for us is to review. Via the fun, the one, the only Kahoot. I know that Derek didn't want Kahoot. He wanted one of the other ones, but I'm going to go with it. And I've set it up where there's 90 minutes between them, so we should be able to, 90 seconds, I should say. So we should be able to account for lag. And what if you have your phone out to see comments and then play Jeopardy on the laptop? You know what, Praneeth? That may work. This might be why you're going to be the one that controls the world in the nuclear war. So let me see if I can get to that. Oh, Derek, I thought you said something about one of the other things, but evidently I heard that wrong. So my bad. I'm just trying to make sure I get to it. World War III Stuyvesant theory. It's going to happen over the Panama Canal. I say it's going to happen over one of the pyramids because it would just be that much more interesting. Donald Trump's going to try to take a pyramid or two to make America great again. So this is a pain in the butt when you're trying to do it on a phone. But let me see what I can figure out here. I'm still here. I'm not totally losing it just yet. I think. But let me see what I can figure out here. I'm still here. I'm not totally losing it just yet. I think. But let me see what I can figure out here. I'm still here. Oh. Let's see. All right. I think I've got the. I've got it. I got it. I got it. All right. So you wanted to play Jeopardy that bad, Praneeth. You're going to get to play Jeopardy that bad. All right. So rules of the Jeopardy are going to be. Rules of the Jeopardy are going to be that the person I see chime in on Jeopardy first is going to be the person that gets to choose the category, and then we'll see how it happens. So Leo, you said that recording the lagged audio equals infinite loop. So I'm not sure what I can do about it other than it just might be a feature of being lagged audio. But we'll certainly see what we can try. I hope it's not too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to play our game. So Praneeth, you get to choose the categories that don't exist. So this will be category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Praneeth, give me a category you want to start with. Got to give me the amount too. And whoever answers the questions, you got to answer it as in the form of a question. So what is? So Praneeth wants to go for the money. He wants to go category 5 for 500. If you have vertigo, you feel like the room is spinning. What part of your ear causes this? First answer. Derek says, what is the cochlea? That would be wrong. That would be the semicircular canals. Hold on, children. Can you see it now? Okay, we see it now. All right, so let me get this back up here. And so we back to the right place now. Still title screen. From what I'm seeing, you should be able to see the entire. Can you see the semicircular canals with the picture of the semicircular canals and the utricle and the saccule? You want this one? Presenter view? Okay, we could do that. Okay, so we know that semicircular canals are where fluid is, and that fluid continues to move around and then flood into the cochlea. But the semicircular canals is where, after you stop spinning around and you're dizzy still, and you lose your balance, it's because this fluid is still moving around. Okay? No, we don't want Final Jeopardy yet. We got to go back. This isn't working right. I hate some of this sometimes. Let's see. Okay, so the question was, if you have vertigo, you feel like the room is spinning. Okay, so we did category 5 for 500, and so there was no right answer, and I saw that Bupala, excuse me, you said something earlier. You gave another category. Oh, you said it was 5 for 500. Okay, so since no one got it right, Praneeth, you get to choose the next category. Category 4 for 500. All right. The fact that the corner of a building thrust toward the viewer looks shorter than the inside corner thrust away from the viewer is described by this illusion. See what you've been studying on your own, children. question should be on the screen. The scenario is the fact that a corner, excuse me, we wanted to go to presenter view, yeah? So I don't know what's happened here. I'm going to end this show for a second. Hold on a moment, guys. We're going to use presenter view. We're going to... You guys cannot see that? Jennifer Tang says the Mueller-Lyer illusion. Let's see. That is correct. Jennifer Tang, you just got it right. So think of the inverted arrows. You don't see anything right now. Because according to my Google Hangouts, it is showing you the screen. Let me see for a second. Hold on. Give me a moment. I think I've got it. All right. So you wanted to play Jeopardy that bad, Beneath. You're going to get to play Jeopardy that bad. All right. So. Oh, stop. All right. I don't like hearing myself online. Okay, give me 1 second, please. So I am going to end the show right here, right now, right where I'm at. Okay, so that's going to be odd because it doesn't let me see, let me try this for a second. Can you see this? Yeah, I'm about to just do the Kahoot, Praneeth. This was all your idea. You can see this right now. The Mueller-Lyer illusion. Okay, let's try it now. So, Jennifer Tong, you get the next category, but remember with the Mueller-Lyer illusion that you have the idea of kind of like the inverted arrow. So sometimes people will look at the same side, the same length of an arrow, but when the arrow points are inverted, they will think it to be either shorter or maybe longer than the actual arrow itself. And so in this particular case, retinal images are going to see that same length, but they're going to assume that the line that's closer to you is going to be the shorter line, usually the one that's inverted. So if you did not know what the Mueller-Lyer illusion is, make sure you write that down on your paper and that you go look that up in a little bit. So, okay. So Jennifer, you get to choose the next category, my friend. Category 1 for 100. So let's see, you got to do this each time because this is a poorly made game. When your body detects a stimulus 50% of the time. Praneeth was the first one. Says, what is absolute threshold? And that is correct. Oh, Derek, see, if you had been the first one, you couldn't have gotten the answer because you didn't phrase it as a question. So Praneeth got the first answer on that one, which is absolute threshold. Good job on that. And so the difference threshold is going to be a little different. Bhupala. So Bhupala, think about the idea that you have the just noticeable difference. And that's when you can detect that there is something different there. The just noticeable difference assumes that you've already hit your absolute threshold. And now you're going to see if you can determine a difference in the stimulus. So, all right. So nicely done. That is the absolute threshold. Praneeth, you get to choose the next category and amount. Category 1 for 500. Where the optic nerve hits our retina is where this spot is. Remember to phrase your answer as a question. Praneeth got the first one again, which is what is blind spot? And that is correct. So remember, if we look at this, it says light passes through the cornea, the pupil, and the lens and falls on the light-sensitive surface of the retina, where images of objects are reflected upside down. The lens adjusts its curvature to focus on images falling on the retina. The pupil regulates the amount of light passing through the rear chamber of the eye, and the optic disc right here is where that blind spot is. I cry for I am slow. Oh, it's okay. But I appreciate that Bhupala and Leo and everybody was able to do that. Nice. Okay, so remember that the optic disc is where the blind spot is. And why don't you see a blind spot every day? Every time you're looking somewhere. Your brain replaces it with the background. Your brain fills in the spot because your eye makes up for the blind spot. So Praneeth, Leo, and Jennifer, you are correct. So nicely done. Okay. Praneeth has already chosen his category because he's just that greedy for 500 fake dollars. So let's take a look here at category 2, question for 500. The structure of the ear transduces sound vibration. This structure of the ear transduces sound vibration into nerve impulses. Praneeth can do this as what is cochlea. So Derek says rip, Jennifer says cochlea, Leo says cochlea, Elaine says cochlea. Jennifer just went question mark there. at the end. Oh, I see what you've done. Got it. Okay, so you said, what is the cochlea? And that is correct. The cochlea is where the excuse me, the cochlea is where the nerve impulses are, the impulses of sound and vibration are transducted, into chemicals to go into the brain and move into the temporal lobe through the auditory cortex. So nicely done. And again, Praneeth, you were the first one with that response. You are the man to beat tonight. So, Praneeth. Category for 3 for 500. It's difficult to see a camouflaged animal because we cannot easily distinguish between these two things. Ooh, this could be a tricky one. Having fun humming this. Okay, so Praneeth is the first one to give an answer, which is, what is figure ground? And that is correct. Amazing, Praneeth. Praneeth has once again done it. Figure and ground. It's what makes it difficult to spot the difference between camouflage and not camouflage, because we have trouble with figure and ground. So, nicely done. Again, if you're looking at this going, huh? Make sure you write down figure ground so that you can go look that up. You may even find something about that in, say, today's little viewing exercise on perception from Crash Course, or you may find something about that, say, in a couple of the slide decks that we were looking at. So, Praneeth, Bhupala, there is no FRQ tomorrow. Praneeth, you're in control of the board. Category 1 for 400. To our eye, this wavelength determines how we sense images. Bhupala said first, what is hue? And you are correct. This very image is in our presentation. So Bhupala, Praneeth, and Leo, you got those first. And Mr. Anul, I can't even see right. Am I looking at your name right? Jeez Louise, it is Arul. I said it right the first time. I'm trying to put that little Spanish rolling of the R in there, and I can't even do that right. So, but Bhupala, this means you are in control of the board. But this wavelength refers to hue for color. Thank you, Derek. I don't have my rule. I like that, a rule. But Derek, I don't have my glasses on, so that capitalized R helps me because I'm holding a phone in one hand and looking at the screen in the other. So that's very nice of you. You're very kind to the elderly. We appreciate it. Okay. Rupala, you are in control of the board, my friend. What category next? Category 2 for 400. This feature analysis assumes we progress from the whole picture, then to the component parts, kind of like seeing the forest through the trees. seeing the trees through the forest. This assumes we progress from the whole picture, then down to the component parts. Elaine said the answer first. She buzzed in with bottom up. But Elaine, you gave the answer. That would be top-down processing. So, Elaine, you lost the category. Subtract 400 fake dollars from your account. But no, Leo, you came in just right after Elaine on my chat. So that means that Elaine got to give the answer. But top-down processing, if you look at this picture of George Bush, it's actually made up of component images, very small images of faces. So this, you see the image of George Bush first, but when you break it down to its smaller components, you would see that they're really just images of other people put together to resemble George Bush. So that means, Bhupala, you are still in control of the board, sir. Category 3 for 400, Mr. Rule says. A rule says this, the lights around the movie marquee flashed on. What is that referred to? Remember to phrase your answer as a question. Dun, 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 dun. Praneeth answered first with what is phi or phi phenomena, and that is correct. That's what we opened class with today. A movie marquee. Oh boy, that makes me feel old. So Elaine, this is a terrible example of a marquee, but if you look here, you can see it's a sign, and there's all these little light bulbs around it. And so when we were in class today, we saw that each of the dots looked like it was being chased by the other in a pattern. And so this would be a marquee type sign. A movie marquee is where when you are out in front of a movie and you see all the names of the movies and what times they play and such like that, and what this theater is showing. So I'm glad I got to enlighten fellow AP psychos on your movie vocabulary, and then I feel old again. So, all right. So Praneeth, you are back in control of the board, wasting no time. Category 4 for 400. This concept allows us to judge distance because closer stuff is coarser or more detailed. This concept allows us to judge distance because things that are closer are coarser or more detailed in appearance. Safi Joffrey popping in with, what is depth perception? That is incorrect, sir. I am so sorry. What we are looking for is texture gradient. Texture gradient. So things would look closer, and especially if you use this photography image, because there's a lot of detail here and it smooths out due to the blurriness from the as you move on into the picture, that would make it look like it's bigger and because it looks like it's closer to. So coarser is the key word, Derek. You are correct. But depth perception is a good guess. So I salute you for putting that out there, Safi. So again, this sound odd to you? Make sure you look it up. Let's take a look at the next category. Praneeth, you are still in control of the board. Category for five for 400. After you can't smell the dog poop. Why you can't smell the dog poop after 5 hours? Ew. This concept refers to why you can't smell the dog duty after 5 hours. Praneeth has said all of a sudden sensory adaptation, along with Elaine, who says texture gradient isn't in the textbook. And Safi says, what is sensory adaptation? So does Bupala, Ms. Key, Mr. Johnson, Derek, Mr. Saxon. You all say the same thing, but Praneeth was the first. There's another name for that is called habituation. And so you may see habituation, but for most part, it's sensory adaptation. So Leo had an unreasonable amount of difficulty in typing adaptation. I'm so sorry, Mr. Saxon. My apologies go out to you. My heartfelt apologies. All right. So going back to the board, which Praneeth is still in control of, he wants to go to category 3 for 200. We often perceive a series of dots on a printed form as a solid line because of this Gestalt principle. Elaine gets us started with, what is closure? And she's right. So, nice. Ms. Key said that as well. Mr. Johnson came up with proximity. Grouping is what Mr. Kandula said. And neither one of those is correct, but closure is correct. You have redeemed yourself, Elaine. I'm so happy. My heart sings at your redemption. So nicely done. That means, Miss Cheng, you have. What? Okay, so whatever that one was, Miss Cheng, you have control of the board. You get to choose the next category. Okay, so hold off on texture gradient for just a minute. Elaine is going to be anticlimactic. She's going to go category 5 for 100. All right, miss, here you go. According to this theory, the ability to perceive pitch is determined upon the vibration of a certain location of the basilar membrane. That gives you a lot of specifics, but you know the answer to this from what we did in class. What is place theory? That was the first one given. Just not sure, but you are correct. Look at that. Maraiki, you are correct. Holy theory. Let's see. According to this theory, the ability to perceive pitch is determined on the vibration of a certain location of a basilar membrane. Derek, you're going to have to enlighten me for a minute because you keep typing, it looks like CX, but I don't know what that means. Normally, I'm used to you guys typing RIP. It's a face. Okay. Got it. You gotta keep the you gotta keep the it must be subliminal, yes. Jennifer telling, no, we're not going to do dream journals, probably. Good one, Safi, using topical humor. So thank you for enlightening the old man on your face. And Elaine, you said place theory. So, Miss, that puts you. Whoa. Whoa. Going crazy. Elaine, that puts you in control of the board. I'm sorry. It was Mariah. My bad. I'm trying to scroll up. Mariah, you did say it first. Elaine, you're so honest. That's so. Again, my heart is singing. So, Mariah has chosen category 4 for 100. We tend to perceive those who dress the same as being together. Which Gestalt principle is at work? Mariah has said, what is continuity? So that's the first answer. But Leo says, what is grouping? Now, here's the bonus. The bonus, and I've got what is proximity. Got two continuities, grouping, proximity. Okay, so first of all, Mariah said first continuity. So we're going to go to that in just a second. But for 3 gajillion bonus dollars, what school is being shown there? It's college and university. No, it is not USC. I'll give you a hint. I'm circling it with the arrow. CCA's football team. Derek gets 3 gajillion bonus dollars. It is Arizona State. This is where I went to school. Arizona State. This is the stadium. And this right down here is where my season tickets were every year. So, which Arizona school you went to? No, that doesn't work. Okay, so back to Gestalt principles. Gestalt principles. Mariah said continuity first, but it's grouping. So, Leo, if you had gotten in there first, you would have been in control of the board. But I'm going to give you control of the board because I don't remember who had control before that. How's that? So, Yeah. Texas State. It's Arizona State. Best school on earth. Screw this Harvard and Princeton and Stanford stuff, whatever. All right, so Leo, yeah, Leo, you get to choose the board. Ooh, Derek, you're in Quiz Bowl. Leo, category 5 for 300. Why food tends to taste bland when you have a stuffy nose? This is why food tends to taste bland when you have a stuffy nose. Praneeth gave the first answer, which is sensory interaction, and that is correct. Derek just came in right there. Sensory interaction is the correct answer. So if you're looking back again, we're looking at why food tends to taste bland when you have a stuffy nose. That is because sensory interaction works with taste. And so their sense of smell interacts with your sense of taste. Both work together to make sure that you can actually taste food. So if you, for example, I think I use this one in third period only, but maybe we talked about Brussels sprouts, for example. I hate Brussels sprouts, but Brussels sprouts, if you try to, I can't even eat them when I plug my nose because I don't like the consistency as well as the taste. But supposedly, plug your nose, hold your nose, you can not only talk like this, but you would also not taste the vile taste of Brussels sprouts. So, that being said, Praneeth, you are back on the board, in control of the board, excuse me. Yes, Derek, eggplant, same thing. Right there with you, man. Praneeth, category 4 for 300. This concept allows us to judge distance when one object covers another. What is retinal discrepancy? Praneeth has said. That is incorrect. That is interposition. I don't think that might be on your unit guide. And so you don't have to really worry about it. But this, even though this would be in front of the door, you would still know that the door is behind it. And so you could still judge the distance of the door, even though part of it is covered. That's the idea of interposition. But so I mean, I'm going right off the top of my head. I don't think that is on your unit guide, but you may want to check me on that one. But interposition is the concept that when something is covered, when one object covers another, we can still judge the distance of where the objects are. Height. But Praneeth, because that one technically is not necessarily what I want you to know, you still have control of the board. Category 3 for 300. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. What is the German word for this phrase? Praneeth, first again, what is Gestalt? You are correct. So if you're looking at Gestalt, this gives you an idea here. Proximity is that idea of the elements are so close together that they look like that they are grouped together. We look at this and see these as a group, even though these things are technically different objects. Closure is the idea, like you saw today with the triangles in the video that we looked at, but you get the idea that this is a circle or that this is a wolf or something like that. So yeah, Praneeth, the rest of you should just log off, Leo, because Praneeth's just dominating. But and then so excuse me, similarity is when the elements are so similar that they tend to be grouped together. So that's true, Derek. You do have the 3 gajillion points because you guessed Arizona State. But in this case, this is not literally the number 2. It's just that the similar colored dots here are number 2. So this is what we call similarity. When things go back to that idea from the stadium shot, similarity would be that idea that you have everybody is grouped together because they're wearing the same clothes, for example. Simplicity is when you tend to believe that you tend to separate the objects or arrange them in the simplest way possible. So even though this is technically one shape, I bet you all see 2. And then continuity is what we learned earlier, where you would view these dots as a straight line, even though that they're just dots in a row. So nicely done. I don't know that we need to hail Derek, Leo, but we should celebrate that he could recognize the superior learning institution and its football stadium. So, all right. Whoa. Okay, so Praneeth, buddy, you're in control of the board. Category 2 for 300. After images are explained by this theory of color vision. I'll know who looked at the PowerPoint I posted this afternoon or is paying attention. George, you answered first with opponent process theory. Bam. You are correct. You have taken the board away from Praneeth. Samantha, you were right there, though. And Jennifer Tong, you were right there as well. Leo comes in. Praneeth just jumped on the bandwagon. But George, ooh, Derek just exposed you. Ooh. Matthew said it out loud. Matthew, but I didn't hear you. So, I mean, I love that. In our glorious leaders war, wrong. That is correct. Derek is correct on this, George. So, Sam, you were the first to phrase it as a question. Even though there's no question mark, I will say that you still wrote it as a question. So, questions are perceived, not sensed. So, well, Sam, you didn't type your question mark, but I'm still giving you control of the board. But remember that in the opponent process theory, these things will block out, and you will see only these colors and not these. So let's get back to Psych before it becomes a current issues. Oh, whatever. Discord. All right. All right. So, Sam, board is yours, my friend. What category next? One for 300, please. So polite. This is a fancy word for smelling. What is audition? Okay. Oh, and there's the question mark. You were the first to answer. Unfortunately, that one is incorrect. That would be olfaction. So sorry, Sam, but olfaction is the correct answer. I would take olfactory reception or olfaction. Um, I'm not sure. I think College Board would as well, but olfaction is the correct answer. Audition would refer to auditory, which is then hearing. So, um, yeah, I see you got that, Sam. Um, so you're correct. All of you that said olfaction is the sense of smell, and so this is one of those things where you have to have olfaction. Your smell has to reach the molecules of scent have to reach the top of the nose. So you have now, you don't have to necessarily know that it's the olfactory membrane, but if you do know that you have olfactory smells, receptor cells that transmit it to the olfactory bulb, and the olfactory bulb from the video you saw today then moves to the olfactory nerve and then goes into the transduction process. But remember, it doesn't move into a cortical area. It moves into where? I'm circling it. So the olfactory bulb is what then makes it get into there. It goes into the thalamus, which is closed, part of the limbic system, which we know is part of memory and emotion. So I know I said this the third period today, but I'm sure some of you may have experienced where you encounter a smell and the smell makes you think of something right away. So, for example, I can smell. I think I don't remember the name. I think it's Chanel number 5. Chanel number 5 is the perfume that my grandmother wore. I smell that, and I can remember. I can see her house. Um, there's another smell of an air freshener that has some sort of floral scent that we had when I was probably 3. But whenever I encounter that smell somewhere, it's usually when I'm in like a pottery barn or someplace with potpourri or soap or crap like that. Um, it's when I come across that smell, I immediately am transported. I'm 3 years old. I can see my mom and dad's bedroom. So, um, so this is where you have that. Praneeth, I think you just caught me. Does go into the limbic system because it does involve. It's very closely related to the areas of memory and emotion. But you are correct. Um, you are correct. You are correct. You are correct. Me bad. So it actually goes to the forward base of the brain. It does not go into the thalamus. And you are correct. And we actually, I believe, noted this in class because now I'm having a flashback. I'm having a memory, but it's not linked to smell. Okay, so olfaction was the answer. So that means that Leo, I said I would take that answer of olfactory reception. So that means you have the board. Yeah, whoops. The teacher live on the internet just was wrong. But you know what? Learning comes from making mistakes. I'm not ashamed. So, Leo, you got the board. One for 200, por favor. When a stimulus is registered by your brain, but you don't notice it. When a stimulus is registered by your brain, but you don't notice it. What is subliminal? Samantha is correct. Question mark and all. Safi just said, what is subliminal? He just said that, but you didn't type it. So, subliminal is the correct answer. Nicely done, Miss Skinner. So again, if you're looking at this, I will put it back up again. When a stimulus is registered by your brain, but you don't notice it. That is subliminal. All right. Sam, you're in control of the board. Let's finish 5 for 200. These are the 4 basic tastes. Type fast, my friends. These are the 4 basic tastes. Praneeth, what are sweet, sour, bitter, and salty? Praneeth gave the first answer. Sweet, sour, bitter, and salty. But remember that this is all a lie. But wow. And umami for extra credit. A basic taste will always be bitter. Umami is included, but these are the 4 basic tastes. Umami is a newly emerged taste category, if you will. So, but I am really impressed by those of you that typed that out so fast. So, Praneeth. Yeah, George, that sounds like something chemistry. I'm with Elaine on that. I'm just going to go with that. Two for 200. This theory of vision explains color blindness since 1 or more cones don't function. Not a fact, but a theory. This theory of vision explains color blindness since 1 or more cones don't function. Praneeth, what is trichromatic theory? You are correct. Also known as the Young-Helmholtz theory, and that they're basically, according to this theory, the cones are coded to see in either blue, green, or red. And Safi, nice. And Leo, nice. And George is trying to make this a chemist dream. Aha! This is the correct. And so Young-Helmholtz would also explain things like red-green color blindness, because red-green color blindness would say that there's a defect with one of the cones. So, nicely done. Praneeth, your WPM is impressive. You already have chosen category 4 for 200, right? Yep, okay. The tendency for 2 parallel lines to appear to come together, closer together in the distance. This is the tendency for two parallel lines to appear to come together in the distance. Derek gave us the first answer. What is parallel processing? That is incorrect, sir. The correct answer would be convergence. The point at which they converge in the distance, the appearance that they converge. Sam came up with the idea, though. You're boosted. All right. Well, I'm sorry that you're boosted, but that means, Praneeth, you still have control of the board. I'm going to just choose it for you. This part of a sound wave indicates the volume, or how loud it is. Samantha says wavelength, but Mariah was right, just not in time. It looks at amplitude. What is amplitude is the correct answer. Nice guess on that one, Sam. Mariah, you are correct, but we're going to just go to that last little question here so that we can do some biological bases of behavior and then end our night. So, looking at this is a structure of the eye that controls the size of the pupil. The structure of the eye that controls the size of the pupil. Samantha, you saved it. But that is what is the iris. The iris is a muscle. It also is where your color is. So iris is correct. Nicely done. The Final Jeopardy on this isn't really Final Jeopardy because what I discovered is the teacher that offered this up for everybody to steal took this probably from an English teacher, because the question is not there, and then the answer is Tolstoy, and the book is Kingdom of God. And, well, that has nothing to do with psychology, at least on the surface. So on that note, I'm going to take just a quick break, and then I'm going to be right back, and we can do just a little bit with biological bases of behavior, and we will be able to resume. So take a break. Be right back. Okay, boys and girls, we are back. There's still 23 of you online, hardcore viewers. That's awesome. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up a Kahoot for just a few minutes, but the Kahoot is going to be, we're not going to finish it because I can't go a lot longer, but certainly willing to spend a few minutes on this. So, okay. Let's now go to our next one, which is going to be a Kahoot on biological bases of behavior. So we are going to play this. There is a lag time, and it will be 90 seconds before the question ends. And judging from your typing rate tonight, the lag's not terrible. So I'm encouraged. But here's what we'll do. We'll go to Kahoot. You should be able to see the Kahoot. And I'm going to start it now. You should be able to see the pin there as 36748. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. So that you can join us and play the game for a little bit. Make sure your names are school appropriate. Give blood on March 8th. Nice. Georgie Porgy. Something tells me that's not really George. Yikes. Impact Pi? Impact Pi? Okay. G and L. I'm a cutie. Ah, I got it. Matthew's just going to keep saying it out loud. He's going to hope we hear. You're welcome to just listen. Okay, we want to get ourselves situated here so that we can start our game. I'll give you one more minute. Okay, we're going to get going. So, that being said, let's start the game. Who is more likely to be color deficient? A male or a female? That would be a male. We know this because the gene for color deficiency is um, is uh, is on the X chromosome. So, or Y chromosome. So, he is in top place, but I'm a Cutie Pie is right behind. L is there. Mariah is coming up on that, and Georgie Porgy is at number 5. All right, let's go to the next one. Who said dreaming may serve no function? Okay, don't worry about this. Actually, we're skipping that one because we aren't there. This one I stole. It has some questions from another unit. So, still at the same scores. Which structure in the eye is like an aperture on a camera? That is the iris. Nicely done. So, aperture on a camera is uh, is equivalent to an iris. Now, of course, this would and you would have to know what the aperture is on a camera, but and it wouldn't quite ask it to you like that. It could be that this teacher had used that example in their class. So let's see. L is at the top. I'm a Cutie Pie is at number 2. Dora Rock is at number 3. Yikes at number 4, and Cam is at number 5, displacing almost everybody that was there. 3 new people on the board. So, all right. Let's go to the next question, which is not a Gestalt principle. A Gestalt principle. Nice. Difference is not a Gestalt principle, but proximity, similarity, and closure is. I am going to do something here because you're not going to like it. We'll see who the leaders are real quick. But Dorrock, you went to number 1. Yikes. Mariah, L, and I'm a Cutie Pie fell down to number 5th. And Smiley Face is the highest climber. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to end this quiz because I didn't want you to do more of the same. And we're not going to play again. New game. Hold on just a second. Okay, sorry. My bad. We're gonna play again because I swore I took out the questions that were not there. Sign back in again, my friends. Sorry that I ruined your little thing. Sorry that the lag is there for some of you. The new pin is 140408. Yeah, rip Mr. Vanover tonight. Ooh, someone loves George. Kids Bob. Yikes. Feature Yikes 2.0. L. Hide on bush. Mowing. I hate George. No, I don't like that one. I know I might take that one away. Georgia, I believe. Okay, looks like we got all we're going to get. So, looks like we'll start again. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm skipping this question. Already did that. No one. True or false? Phenotype is the set of genes in an organism. Got one more person here. All right, so that was time up. Phenotype is not the set of genes in an organism. So hide on bush, you are number one. Let's see. Mariah, you're number two. Wrong is number three. Give Blood on March 8, giving a nice plug. And I Love George is number 5. All right, let's take a look. I'm going to skip this one. because we just did it. I'm going to skip this one because we just did it. I'm definitely skipping this one because this has nothing to do with what we've done yet. We've already done this one. Okay, here's a new one. What neurotransmitter plays an important role in memory, learning, and communication? Nice. Glutamate. None of you got it right. So what you want to do is make sure you go to the Psych homepage on my website and look at the neurotransmitter study aid that is on there, because it would tell you some of that. So neurotransmitters is definitely neurotransmitters are definitely one area that you had some trouble with on your quiz. So make sure that you are looking at that. Nice job, class. Pranked. All right. Hide on bush, number 1. Everybody's still in the same place. So let's go. We already did this one, so I'll be skipping it. We know that that is a male. Yay. All right, let's go on. What is the deepest level of sleep? Don't worry, because we didn't do this one yet. Skip. Nice. The right hemisphere does it control speech in most people, control movement in the brain, does what the left side does, or is better at visual and spatial relations? Okay, so remember what they said is that you don't want to have any damage done to your left side, because your left hemisphere is where your language and speech processing is at. So definitely can't be read. The sides don't necessarily mirror each other because there are certain things located on each different hemisphere. You were right in not to have this mistaken for controlling movement. It is better at visual and spatial relations. Nicely done. Hide on bush is number 1. EV is number 2. Whoever Loves George is at number 3. Feature is at number 4. And Give Blood March 8 is still giving us a plug at number 5. Let's go to the next one. Afferent neurons relay messages from blank, and efferent neurons send signals to blank. Let's see what you guys have here. Nice. Since the afferent neurons relay messages from sense organs to the brain, while efferent neurons will send signals to the glands or the muscles. So afferent goes up, and I like to say that efferent or efferent goes down. I know that that's not quite correct because there are glands that are right there at your brain, but such as the pituitary gland. But it's important to kind of keep a mnemonic here that helps you work. Afferent up, efferent down. F up, F down. A comes with E. A is at the top, E is afterwards towards the bottom. So a couple ways to make sure that you kind of keep that in mind, okay? All right, nicely done for those of you. Feature in number 1, Give Blood March 8 has regained some space. Kids Bop is up at number 5. Mowing is on the board, and Hide on Bush is now at number 3. All right, which statement about hormones versus neurotransmitters is false? Which statement about hormones versus neurotransmitters is false? I'm with Sam. You should all be donating blood. So nice. It is not true that hormonal imbalance can cause a neurotransmitter imbalance. However, the opposite is true. A neurotransmitter imbalance can cause a hormonal imbalance. Excuse me. Um, we do believe that hormones evolved when organisms began to become more complex, and some of the chemicals in the body act as both a neurotransmitter or a hormone. That's usually AP is going to keep it a little more strict than that as far as this is a hormone, this is a neurotransmitter. But we do know that hormonal imbalances do not cause neurotransmitter imbalances as well. So let's see where we're at. Feature at number 1, Give Blood on March 8th is at number 2, continuing to promote that message. Kids Bop number 3, Hide on Bush is at number 4, and Evie is down to number 5. Let's take a look at the next question. Plasticity is the moving, shaping, or molding of dendrites, axon terminals, myelin sheaths, or neurotransmitters. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I can't sing anymore. The dendrites. So the dendrites are the end of what? Tell me if you can. What are dendrites part of? Neurons. Thank you, Sam. So we know that dendrites are part of the neurons, and that means that plasticity has to do with neurons being able to be repositioned slash, I say repositioned, but they can be reprogrammed or rerouted into different ways in different areas as needed by the brain. Axon terminals are not where we'd be looking at any kind of shaping or that, neither with myelin sheaths. And neurotransmitters are chemicals, so it would not be related to the plasticity of the brain. So you want to make sure that you're looking at brain plasticity, and understand that dendrites. What happens at the dendrites? They receive info. Okay, so that's going to have to do with the idea of the messages being sent by neurotransmitters. So sometimes plasticity is going to refer to the way in which the neuron begins to perform a different function, and that sort of thing. So make sure you're looking at plasticity and how it revolves around neurons. One of the things that we looked at with regard to brain plasticity had to do with split brain patients and how they begin to process language and vision. And we also looked at the girl who had the hemispherectomy because of acute epileptic seizures. So Rasmussen syndrome we looked at. So featured number 1, Georgia, I believe, is at number 2. Kids Pop number 3. Give Blood March 8 still making their plug at number 4, and Hide on Bush, you have now taken the number 5 spot. Nope, we're not going to worry about this one because we're not at Dreaming yet, so we're going to skip that. Clairvoyance is... Nice. So receiving objects or info without any sensory input. And of course, science and psychology will tell you that this is not something that can be proven, so they can't accept it as an actual thing. So nicely done. So feature number 1, Kids Bop number 2, Georgia, I believe, number 3. Give Blood on March 8th is number 4. Evie is back on the board at number 5. The parasympathetic nervous system. Nice. Works to conserve energy and enhance recovery. So it would be the part of the nervous system which calms you down. So important to keep in mind. Nicely done. Okay. Feature is still number 1. Kids Bop number 2. Georgia, I believe, is at number 3. Give Blood on March 8th, still number 4. Hide on Bush is number 5. Don't worry about this analogy because we're not doing this yet. What 2 structures make up the forebrain? What two structures make up the forebrain? The thalamus and the hypothalamus. Nice. So this is just a matter of making sure that you remember the parts of the brain and how they're organized into wholes. So you have the hindbrain, the midbrain, the cortical structures, or the upper brain or the newer brain, lower brain, those sorts of things. So you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on those things and that you can understand which components make up which part. Go with your book and what your book shows you. So that's going to be important. Okay, and finally, memory, or almost finally, memories and stored knowledge is found at what level? No, not yet. What makes up the central nervous system? The brain and the spinal cord. Nicely done. Okay, our final Kids Bop, number 1. Georgia, I believe, at number 2, and Hide on Bush at number 3. So nicely done. Nicely done. So, Evie, you came in at number 4, and Feature came in at number 5. So, well done. Very happy to see this. So, it is time to bid you adieu because we're going on almost 2 hours now, and I'm tired. You need to get some rest, and I know that you think that sleep is like, not needed and everything, but in the next unit, you're going to know that that sleep is good for you and that you need more of it. However, I'm just looking at some of your things because I looked away for a minute, but I like how you thought that clairvoyance is how you heal. It's fortune telling to show you how to get out of the dungeon. Mirai, don't worry about texture gradient because it's not on your unit guide. It was just part of that jeopardy that teacher had emphasized. So as far as your test goes, don't forget, there's one other place that you might want to look. And let me pull it up for you just a second. You don't want to stay up too late because you'll become counterproductive. But if you go to my website and you go to go to AP Psychology, go to Study Links. If you click on Study Links, first of all, don't forget this multiple choice quiz website. I call it the hippie site because it has to do with the AP Psychology commune. So for this particular one, you would look at, really, you could look at some neuroscience because it has to do with neurons. You could do the brain, you could do sensation, and you could do perception. And there's practice questions that you can use there. Also, if you look at my website and you come down to Unit 2, here's a Unit 3, I'm sorry. Here's some things that you can look at as far as some things to help you look at if you haven't looked at this already. Like here's a human brain anatomy lesson, anatomy of the brain. And it's even kind of 3D-ish. If you look at it, ooh, look at that. So you can look at these if you're still not clear on parts of the brain. This could help you out, and that's not a bad idea to take a look at that one. Here's some crash courses on your nervous systems, language processing in the brain. The aphasias, which we kind of looked at very lightly, it is not something I'm going to have, I think, on your test, but and we're looking at things like epigenetics, which we kind of looked at in class. Third period didn't get there because they were talking a lot. Minnesota twin study in that short video. Unit 4, you've got some stuff like we looked at this one, homunculus. There's a social science syndicate, which are 2 kids that actually did some pretty good AP Psych. So you could actually watch these 2 videos for Unit 4 pretty well. And so I did not assign these for homework this year, but these were things from AP Anatomy and Physiology. If you want to look at those a little better, might help you out as well. So that being said, there is no FRQ. So don't worry about FRQs. And there is no anything more that I can say other than I think it's time to go to bed. So you guys want to make sure that you get to bed, get some sleep. It's kind of important for you. Don't stay up too late studying. And on that note, I'm going to tell you good night. So have a great night, and I'll see you in the morning. Don't freak out on your test. You're going to do just fine. My limited love to y'all. Good night.